and when were you first challenged to define your worldview?
Scroll down a little bit.
How can we push young people to get to that point?
Yes. So there weren't as many, at least when I was, in high school, there weren't as many questions that I think that young people have to ask today. I didn't have to ask, I don't even remember asking the question of, is abortion okay or not? I mean, obviously there were people that were pro-choice or even pro-abortion when I was in high school, but it was just kind of something that I felt like I knew. Now, maybe that was a product of the wonderful blessing and privilege of being able to go to a Christian school, is that kind of worldview was just ingrained in every class that we had and in every kind of area that we studied. But I don't remember, maybe not until college or even like the end of college, having to say, okay, why do I believe abortion is wrong? And it certainly hasn't been until the last few years until I've had to answer the question, why do I believe marriage is defined this way? Why do I believe that gender is what it is? I mean, that's been something that you've only had to wrestle with for the past few years, for the past 15 minutes, it seems like. And so there are a lot bigger questions, more fundamental, basic questions that young people are having to define and figure out today, questions that I didn't necessarily have to ask. Now, I think that the biggest thing that I learned, the most formative thing that I learned, and that every person needs to learn, that it seems like so many professing Christians today just don't believe based on the looks of the rest of their worldview, is Genesis 1:1. So many issues that we're dealing with today are answered in the fact that God created the heavens and the earth. And if he is the creator of the heavens and the earth, he's the authority. He says what is and what isn't, what's right and what's wrong, what's good and what's bad, what's male and what's female. When life begins, he answers all of these questions in his creator authority. And I think so many people leave off Genesis 1:1, and then we try to piece our worldview together with a mosaic of some biblical texts that we kind of like, and then some views from the world that actually seem nicer than what God gives us. And we try to piece it together in this mishmash of hopefully tolerant, social justice, loving worldview that ends up actually just being very confusing and doesn't serve us well. And so I know the question was when. I would say that I'm still figuring out how to answer these very strange questions that I think are so strange that we're even asking, like, what is a boy or what is a girl? Those things are still being answered by scripture for me. But that fundamental belief that God created the heavens and the earth. So whatever question that culture has, whatever issue that we're dealing with, I have to go back to that. And I have to trust that God has the authority and God has the clarity to answer these questions for me. And so I don't know if that answers the question, but I will say that it's never too early and it's never too late. As a mom now, I'm realizing just the importance of discipleship and the importance of, from the earliest age possible, catechizing your children and making sure they know the answer to these basic questions. My daughter she's 19 months. And we have this like little catechism that we do. And she's only now able to like answer the first question. And the first question is, who made you? And the answer is, God made you. And she can answer that first question, God. And she might not know what I'm talking about. She might not know what that actually means or signifies yet. But the fact that she knows that basic question, that God made you, and I can just hope and pray that the rest of her wisdom flows from that fundamental reality that God made you, that God made the world. He tells you what is and what isn't. I think that's the most we can hope for as parents who are teaching our kids.
Girl, okay, in Black church, we fan you when you say a fire word. Go ahead. That was all kind of fire. I am going to fan you. The family on YouTube has requested that you be fans because that was good.
Thank you.
Go ahead. Go ahead.